trash wars. Act, break fast, get yours. Yeah, act up, bang, love and fashion, man. I love the lights, the cameras, and hot action. Always love this game, man, with fuck passion. Off the backboard, I'm completely smashing. This is the Kodak going, it's everlasting when they see. Who act what they want, who act what they need, who act. Alright, highlights every night. You want good times? Only diamonds go with peace, man, it's prime time. This ain't no punk gang. This
What's going on, Wiz Nation? What's going on? It's your main man, K. Jose, and welcome to another episode of DC Hoopla. And once again, the Washington Wizards win another basketball game. 4-1. Who would have thunk it? I definitely didn't have us being 4-1. But I will have to say this. Wes Unseld Jr. has this team playing at a high level and has these guys believing. I mean, we're playing pretty much in mid-season form in the month of October, in the first month of the season. The first couple of weeks into the season, this team is already clicking. So I got to give kudos to Wes Unseld Jr. for that. So let's talk about it. I'm going to bring up some stats, talk about last night's win. We beat the Atlanta Hawks, a team that is a very good basketball team. One of the teams that's leading in rebounding. You know, you got that kid Trae Young who's a problem. But the Washington Wizards treated the Atlanta Hawks like if these guys didn't even exist. I mean, just look at these stats. You know, the Atlanta Hawks shot better than we did. But the key stats that stands out is the three-point percentage. The Hawks 28%, we shot 38%. Free throw percentage. Hawks shot 64% and only been to the line 14 times. We went 21 times and made 81% of those. The key stat here is the rebounds. Now, Atlanta is second in the league in rebounding, and we kept them at 43 rebounds. That is very impressive. Also, we have 14 offensive rebounds to their 6 offensive rebounds. That's even more impressive. Another stat that's important to look at is the turnovers. As a team, we only had 6 turnovers to their 13. So that is one of the reasons why we won the basketball game, because of those stats alone. We played as a team. We go look at the stats for as a team. Kyle Kuzma, this dude has been playing solid since he's been a Wizard. You know, you're not going to hear nothing negative, but 21 points for Kyle Kuzma, 21 points from Octavius Caldwell-Pope, 25 from the monster Montrezl Harrell, my favorite Wizard on this team right now. Bradley Beal had 27 and 8. That is a very, very efficient game for this guy. I would have to say it's probably his best game so far this season. Probably one of his best games I've seen him play as a Wizard, even with the times when he put up 30 and 40 in a loss. But this is a very, very well-rounded game by Bradley Beal. What a way to respond after how piss poor he played against the Celtics. 10 points for Davis Bertans. Where you Davis Bertans haters at? You guys like to talk about him. He gave us 10 points. 5 from Denny, 6 from Howell Neto. But, I mean, to get 20, and you mind it, think about this. To get 21, 21, 25 from role players with no Spencer Dinwiddie, with Daniel Gafford out, is very impressive. Because if you look at the Hawks, they were 100% healthy. Okay? And we still beat them. Now, John Collins had 28 and 12. That's impressive by him. But the main key stat that we had to look at, Trae Young had 15 points. He had 13 assists. But Trae Young, to keep him at 15 points, which is below his average, is very impressive. That we were playing defense. Now, of course, a lot of people say that Trae Young was looking to get the foul calls, which they're kind of swallowing a whistle, and they're not giving foul calls to a lot of these players like the James Hardens of the world, the Damian Lillards, because those guys are averaging less than 20 points because those guys live at the free throw line, but so does Trae Young. Bill also lives at the free throw line too, so he's scoring below his average as well. But Cam Reddish, I know a lot of people were high on Cam Reddish. Some actually wanted the Wizards to draft him over Rui Hachimura. He put up 20 points last night. But the team, the Washington Wizards, man, we're playing defense. This is probably the best defensive team I've seen this team. This is the best defense that I've seen this team play in a very long time, probably like in ever. I've given credit to Randy Whitman of the style of defense that this team played during the time he was the coach. And I always revert back to the 2012-2013 season when the Wizards were actually in the top 10 in defense. But the defense that this team is playing, the energy that we're seeing from these guys. I love the fact that the ball is being shared. It's no longer being stuck. We're not watching two guys control the basketball, control the offense. You know, it's not one of those, you take your turn and I'll take my turn. It feels good to not have a point guard get triple doubles and that being glorified even if we lose. You know, I mean, it's just great. And it feels good to have a coach because even though this team is 4-1, he says we're not satisfied. There's work that need to be done. Kudos to Wes Unseld Jr., the perfect man for the job. Now, let me talk about Montrezl Harrell. I knew that Montrezl Harrell was a solid player for this team. Okay, I knew that, and I knew exactly what kind of energy he brought because he murdered us when he played for the Clippers. So I knew the kind of player he was. And actually, I wanted this team to draft him during that time when he was available. I have to actually go back and look and see what year he was drafted and if we actually could have drafted him the year he came into the league. But this guy has already solidified himself as a Wizard. And he is a player that I believe we definitely should sign him to a long-term deal. Okay? I mean, it's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And the thing is, Montrezl Harrell was selected in the second round of the draft in 2015. We could have actually bought his draft rights. He's a second-round pick. Okay? The guy is 6'7", with a 7'4" wingspan. I mean, this dude was he was an NBA Sixth Man of the Year in 2020. NBA Hustle Award in 2020. Come on. I mean, let's keep it a buck. He's deserved. It's well deserving for him to get that. You know, he was an AAC Most Improved Player in 2014. First team All AAC. Second team All AAC. First team All AAC in 2014. Second team in 2015. Received a Karl Malone Award in 2015. 2013 NCAA champion. And did I mention that he's a NBA Sixth Man of the Year in 2020? I believe I did. I believe I did. I know I did. Man, this dude is a beast. So he definitely deserves to get a contract extension from us. 6'7", 240 pounds, with a 7'4" wingspan, plays with a lot of energy, and the guy's only 27 years old. 27 years old. So he's definitely what this organization has lacked for years, the type of style that he plays. So, man, I am loving Montrezl Harrell. Kyle Kuzma. Now, I know I wasn't really giving him a lot of credit because I felt like he was a player that was unproven, but he's playing solid. You know, he's averaging a double-double this season. I didn't see that. I did not see him doing that. He's hitting the three ball. He's not playing out of his mind. He has his moments, but he hasn't really played uncontrollably. And I'm loving what I'm seeing out of Kyle Kuzma. KCP hit clutch threes last night. I mean, each time Atlanta went on a run, this guy would hit a clutch three-point shot. You know, when he came into the league, he was known to be a three-point threat. The thing is some people probably didn't expect him to be much of anything. I think at one point he was kind of considered like one of the worst NBA players in the league. Well, he is a solid pro, and I'm loving what we're getting out of him. Now, tomorrow we play the Boston Celtics at home. We had already beat them on Wednesday, and we beat them in Boston. I'm sure that the Celtics are going to be looking at revenge. I don't think that, you know, some of those players who didn't play well against the Celtics, I don't expect them to play terrible. And I do feel that Brad Stevens will make some adjustments. But guess what? So will Wes Unseld Jr. Man, he's the king of adjustments. Each time he picks his timeouts, we would come back, especially if a team is going on a run, and then we would go on a run ourselves. I mean, that's going to coaching. So these wins that we've been getting goes on to the supporting cast, and it's credit to the coaching. Kudos, even though he didn't play last night, but kudos to Spencer Dinwiddie for putting this team on his back, for being the leader. He's clearly the leader of this team. Kudos for Montrezl Harrell for also becoming a leader of this team. You know, when other players are not stepping up, these guys step up to the plate. Kudos to Kyle Kuzma. Kudos to all of these guys. Hal Neto playing well. And mind you, we haven't even seen Rui Hachimura play yet, who I believe is the X factor of this team. Some people probably will say, you know, well, the way Kyle Kuzma's playing, we don't really need Rui Hachimura. I'm not going to say that because Rui Hachimura was drafted to be the face of this franchise, whether people want to believe that or not. He was definitely drafted to be that. Okay? And kudos to Bradley Beal for playing a better game last night. He played a very well-rounded game. Now, before I end this episode of DC Hoopla, if you notice, my episodes have been getting shorter because I'm getting straight to the point. One thing I do want to address, well, I don't even want to use the word address. One thing I'm going to say is that I'm going to be critical of players who are not performing, and I'm going to give them their flowers when they do perform. Okay? When a player is not performing and I'm critical of it, that's fine. But I'm not going to be the type that when they're not performing well, I'm just going to be quiet about it and then wait until they play well and then actually say something. Because I noticed that yesterday, you know, when some players were actually playing, say a player, and you guys know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Bradley Beal. He played well yesterday. He played a hell of a game. But I noticed a lot of his fans, a lot of his apologists came out the woodworks to talk about how well he played. But these people were nowhere to be found when he was playing like straight dog shit the past several games. They waited until he played well to talk about him. You guys are turtles. Where you had your head stuck in the shell when he was playing bad, but when he played well last night, you stuck your head out of that shell, and all of a sudden we see you and you're talking. Keep in mind, man, I see you guys and I see how the way you operate. And these are the same people who are very critical of Davis Bertans each and every time he plays bad. And then when he plays well, they don't say nothing. So we got to be consistent. Anyway, at the end of the day, this season is about the team. It's not about one individual player. Credit will be given when it's due, and criticism is warranted when it is warranted. If you play like trash, I'm going to talk about it. If you play well, I'm going to talk about it. It's not going to be, I'm going to wait until you play like trash and don't say nothing when you play well. No, I'm going to do both. I'm going to give you your flowers when you play well, but I'm also going to give you constructive criticism when you play like trash, and that goes for any player on this team. So, again, the accountability is coming from the head coach, from the best player all the way down to the worst player. That's where the accountability is. But at this moment, Spencer Dinwiddie, Montrezl Harrell, these guys are the leaders of this team. They're leading by example. Montrezl Harrell has been the most consistent player on this team so far. And I'm loving this dude. So that concludes another episode of DC Hoopla. Be on the lookout for State of the Wizards. Follow me on IG. Follow me on Twitter. Like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow Wiz Takes on IG. Follow him on Twitter under Wizards Mafia. Subscribe to his Patreon account. Also, look for him on Spotify at Wiz Takes. He has his own podcast. And definitely like, share, and subscribe to us on YouTube under the State of the Wizards. We're the voices of the unheard. We're not sugarcoating anything. But shout out to the Washington Wizards with a 4-1 start. Shout out to the team. Love my Wiz. I love him. I love him. I love him. And big, big, big shout out to Montrezl, the Monster Harrell. This is your main man, K. Jose, for DC Hoopla. Catch you on the next one.
For us to be one, one, together in harmony. Listen to me, yeah, yeah. I got something to tell you. Wasn't long ago. I had a vision. Inside my mind, yeah.